His and hers. The His and Hers podcast with Michael Smith and Jemele Hill on ESPNradio.com.
So since we're on the listen tab on the ESPN app, or however the kids are getting podcasts these days, as opposed to the old days where we used to just tweet out a link and then it would be on .com and, iTunes subscription. They still have iTunes?
They do. It's still hot in the streets. Or Apple Music now.
Yeah,
right?
Oh, it's Apple Music. That's right.
Apple Music.
Apple Music. Yeah.
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. See, thank you. I can't
Tarika.
keep up nowadays. I say all that to say, I wonder what the reaction is to the people. Do they get alerts that an OG podcast just dropped? Do they get a notification? They look at their phone?
Because they might clutch their chest and call for Elizabeth.
Right. Like, is this
actually
real?
Happening?
Is this a mistake? Wait, I'm used to seeing the SC6 podcast every day, but is this a OG His and Hers podcast? Do my eyes deceive me as I live and breathe? That's probably the reaction, right?
As tends to be the case when we take some absences, which, again, as I always feel like we have to disclaim, are more about our schedule as opposed to our willingness and our want to do it, right? I think so.
What's the percentage? Because look, can we be honest? Can we be honest? Let's be honest. They got many a day. I don't feel like doing this. We love. This is where it all started. We did not forget our roots.
We did not.
This is where it all started. We would not be where we are, which is 6 to 7 Eastern weekdays on ESPN. We would not have what we have if not for you, the original His and Hers family who put on for us, made this podcast popular, which begat the name change of our old TV show, which got us here. And we just enjoy doing this. We enjoy letting loose. Like, we're over denying that there's a difference between
we know there is
the TV show and the format of the TV show versus this. Like, I've already dropped the That's 2 now. That's 2. That's 2 bleeps, But that said, given the demands on our schedule, not to make excuses, but given the demands, there are some days, some Wednesdays, where it's just like
we don't necessarily have the energy.
We don't have it. We don't have, or just the flow, the creativity, whatever it would take. And you might say, well, hey, just give us something.
We can't just give you anything.
Right. We got a high standard.
Right. Now, the last couple of weeks, it was the finals.
We were gone.
We were gone.
We were in Cleveland,
not
Oakland,
here.
L.A.
Yeah.
I think the last pod we did was with Kareem in studio.
You're right. That was.
And then we had a meeting for 11:30. You know what we sound like right now? We sound like that person that goes 6 months without texting. Or we sound like that girlfriend, that ex-girlfriend of Kevin Durant's that decides to hit him up after he wins the finals.
I knew we would make our way around to that.
That's what we sound like. We sound real shady right now. Like, all these excuses, like, where you been? Oh, life.
Right.
Been busy, been working, but I think about you all the time. I'm happy for you.
Which is not necessarily true when somebody from the past reaches out. It's kind of like one of the funniest memes I've ever seen is about all the excuses that people make, black people in particular, to get off the phone with you. Right?
My favorite. What's your favorite? Because I'm the person in our relationship. We'll get back to Kevin Durant in a second. But in our relationship, I'm typically the person, surprise, surprise, that keeps the conversation going.
Right. That's why I think, what was it, conversation terrorist? I think that was.
I reject that. That's first of all, that's politically incorrect.
I'm sorry.
In this current climate.
You're right. Right. My bad. Let me send myself to the penalty box.
And a lot of times, y'all come to me. Y'all come to me.
Okay.
Y'all seek out my counsel.
Yeah.
And that's how it ends up being a long conversation. If my answers frighten you, you should cease asking scary questions. And if you don't want to hear what I got to say, don't pull me aside and don't call me. That said, every time I stop a conversation, and I do it intentionally, now that I realize the irony involved, I always say, well, let me let you go.
Right.
Let me,
put it on the other person.
I'm gonna let you go. Let me do you a favor. Yeah. Let me do you this favor after I've kept you 30 minutes past when I first said goodbye.
No, my favorite is you know what? Let me just get myself together right quick and get off the phone. It's like, what does that even mean? You know, it'll be the simplest.
Like your life?
Like life,
you gonna get dressed,
just this day. Like, you know what? I just got home. Let me get myself together right quick, and I'll hit you back 2 years from now, you know? So but that's kind of what that out of the blue text is just. For
those that don't know, Kevin Durant.
Explain the story.
Kevin Durant, at long last, got his ring and Finals MVP to boot. And he mentioned that he got the two most notable texts were from President Obama. Let me say that again. From President Obama. I didn't say former president. President Obama.
You wilding already.
And an ex-girlfriend. To which I needed an investigation into who is this ex. Like, let's find this ex because Bachelor.
I was going to say, see, he had two exes going.
See, now you explain that because I don't know about that one.
So he had the ex that texted him. And for those who are into The Bachelorette, of which I am, she used to date Kevin Durant when they were both at Texas. And they had a serious relationship. So the Bachelorette, Rachel, came to, was it Game 5, I believe. She came to Game 5 to support. Read support however you want to read support, came to support her former boyfriend, Kevin Durant. So he had two simultaneous ex-battlings happening at once.
See, that's that. So
why you say that?
I need to know, so who's the girl that just decided to drop that text? Because first of all.
The fact that I want to know, when is the last time Kevin Durant changed his number, though? Because, like, how far back
how much of an ex is this? But if it's a far away ex and not a recent ex, let's say it's a far away ex. So, like, what are the chances that he's going to see that text? So are you just sending him the text because it's the classy thing to do, or are you hoping for a response?
You got to be hoping for a response. You don't.
So why would he respond to somebody who's, you know, whether you want to call it sometiming, shady, you know, want to jump back on the bandwagon? Like, why would he even respond to that? Like if you're gonna text him that, text him around the 4th of July when everybody's talking about what a coward he is.
Pre-ring.
Text him when he's down. Text him when everybody called him a snake. Like, right. I believe, you know, you're doing the right thing.
Okay.
You take it.
That's when it's more genuine.
When he needs you.
Right.
Don't text him when everybody's like, "Oh, you're the greatest player in the world now." Like, okay, you got a million texts, and if he happens to stumble upon yours, he's gonna look at it skeptically and cynically, as he should.
Because I don't.
Here she come now. I wasn't good enough for her when I was running with Russ. now that I'm a warrior, you acting brand new.
I don't know if he said this in the story. I didn't read it anywhere. Did he actually respond back?
I don't know. That's
the other thing. Like, do you respond back if you get that text?
Okay, let's show some podcast love. Our girl Taylor Rooks on the come up at SNY. Shout out. She's been nailing it when it comes to the guests she's been getting on the podcast. She just had Katie on. So if I know Taylor, she probably had the wherewithal to ask this QT&A about whether or not he responded to this heifer.
Because that's the key part. He's like, did you respond?
This heifer. You got to add that part. Did you respond to this heifer?
Well, look, why can't she just be doing the
I've always wanted to call somebody a heifer. I haven't done it. My mom and my grandmother, everybody.
Ain't nothing but a big old heifer.
Did you respond to this fast girl?
She got to be fast. She can't wish good tidings.
As Gabrielle Union, this is in Love and Basketball, when Sanaa Lathan was in the car with Omar Epps.
She sent her panties through
yeah, exactly. This is the modern day version of sending your panties through the mail. You're going to text him you up when he out here trying to celebrate with the okay, that is you up. Hey big head. What you doing?
Yep. WYD though. WYD question mark.
School me on it.
I ain't out in these streets like that no more.
But you have been recently. When did they start? When did we start texting? I don't remember.
Man.
What year did we start texting? Because I think I might have missed the text phenomenon. See, I go back. See, I've been hitched since we started texting, or at minimum when we started texting without hitting the digit several times to get the letter you wanted.
That's what I was going to say. See, that's the origin story of the texting. It's like when you had to keep hitting the number or keep hitting the letter until it corresponded with the number.
Right.
And then I believe it like somehow went through internet access. Like it was just a whole big confusing thing.
Actually, texting kind of started with the two-way. You don't remember the two-way?
Oh, the two-way. I do remember the two-way.
I didn't have a two-way, Tarika. You had a two-way?
I did. I had it with T-Mobile. T-Mobile was the first one to really come out with the sidekick with the two-way.
So you had the keyboard.
Yeah. That's really when you felt like you were balling.
So, Tarika, you ain't but 21 years old, so you don't know nothing about this.
Yeah, okay.
You don't know nothing about this. What you know about them beepers? What you know about that?
What you know about them pagers that your mama wouldn't let you have because she thought you was a drug dealer?
Oh, yeah.
That's
I know
what
about
I'm saying.
that. What did you know about them codes? What y'all know about 304?
304? Wait, hold on.
No,
170.
Is this I love you?
Yes. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to do it in my head. 170.
What was the V?
What was the V?
No, the V. Wait, no, it's a Y. It's backwards. It got to go backwards. It's like Y.
Y, yeah.
So it's like 170. Fuck.
It's 3. It was 3. 3 was the E.
3 was the E. Yeah.
No, it's YOU. So spell YOU like backward. So 17 makes man. It basically back in the day,
you would just have to.
There was this code that there were the digits that if that was your return number on the top of the pager for you kids that have only seen pages on eBay, when you flipped it upside down and said I love you,
right,
and that's when you knew you can get it. That's when you knew it was yours, right? When the girl sent you that elaborate text. Tarika, can you go over there and decipher this code? Write this down with the numbers and figure out what this code was.
I'm already on it.
Because it was this.
Google it. It's got to be there somewhere.
There were 3 things I knew. 4 things. My phone number. By the way, you know what my first cell phone number was?
I'm amazed you remember this.
Well, here's why. Because you could pick it back in the day. Because every number.
Oh, I remember you could pick it.
So this was Sprint.
Yeah.
504-319 Mike. That was my number. 319 Mike.
That's hilarious.
I don't remember what the corresponding numbers were, but I remember that's how I used to give out my number. Yeah, 319 Mike.
You should call it one day to see who is actually
Who's got it now? 504-319 Mike. But no, I was gonna say with the pagers, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
All right. The first level pager was, just regular. But then if you got the Sky pager, see, did you ever get that 1-800?
That's the same thing that Tarika was talking about, the two-way?
The two-way? It's not the same thing, but you could get a Sky pager. So
I remember Sky Pager Tribe Called Quest song.
Or Sky pager didn't. Oh no, that was Sir Mix-a-Lot just had beepers, right? That was just his song. Right. But the Sky pager 800 number, people can call you from all across the country.
Oh, and then leave a message.
Right? Yeah, or they can text you, whatever.
Yeah. See, I just had the straight dope man pager on my hip. Remember them phones we used to wear on our hips and shit?
Oh, my God.
Remember them big-ass phones?
Big phones. You thought you was doing something.
With the clip?
With the clip.
Remember Blackberries?
Blackberries. To date, I still think my favorite phone is the Trio. The Trio used to go hard. Like, that used to be my phone. I love that one.
I remember feeling like you shouldn't have a Blackberry if you didn't have a job, like a real job. This is all I'm going to say. The numbers that I committed to memory, the codes I committed to memory, my phone number, my social security number, the Contra code.
The Contra code?
And this beeper code.
I found it.
What is it?
I'm
dying to know this. What is it?
Okay, it was 17 pound 31707 pound 1. If you read it backwards, the 7 and the 1 put together look like a V. So it looked like I love you.
There you go.
See?
There you go.
Damn technology.
See, the kids don't know nothing about that, man.
No, they don't.
Nowadays, you slide in the DMs.
You got so many avenues. To connect with people.
Y'all Snapchatting.
Yeah.
You just send them an emoji of an eggplant and a heart.
See, you know what?
I don't know nothing about this. But what I do know is
the new thing is Marco Polo, too. That's a new thing.
Okay, what does that mean? Yeah, do I want to know what that means?
No, it's a video kind of chat thing where you, instead of, they're not even trying to eliminate just texting in general. So, you know how people just snap each other back? Marco Polo is like an elevated version of that, but you can do it in a group chat type of format.
See, I don't need all this. See, that's the problem. To go back to Love Jones, which was the ultimate closer movie in college, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, shame on you. It ain't have to just be in college. You could be an adult, but when you invited somebody over to watch Love Jones on VHS,
not DVD,
but on VHS,
I never had that on.
You knew what time, but you knew what time it was.
VHS.
You knew what time it was. Something was wrong if you completed watching Love Jones with a person that you were attracted to.
After I saw it in the theater, it took me about 5 times to see the actual end of the movie after that.
Precisely.
Right.
One of the most romantic movies of all time. And as Darius Lovehall famously said, romance is about the possibility of the thing. What technology, compared to the beepers back in our day, what technology has robbed people of today is the imagination. Because when you would get that
come
text,
through, Luther.
when you would get, you know what I'm saying? When you get that text, or better yet, if you want to really go old school, voicemail. People still leave voicemails.
I don't leave them.
I guess what's the point?
You don't even leave voicemail.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But I'm saying back in the day, when you get just a voice,
right?
Forget nudes or whatever y'all sending nowadays over the internet. Forget these pictures. Forget these none of that FaceTime. You had the voice. You had to get turned on by the voice. Because, see, you know what I do when I leave a voicemail back in the day? Be like, hey.
Say, baby.
It's Mike. You know, I was just thinking about you. And,
oh, my God.
Figured I'd give you a call. It's about 2 o'clock. I'm listening to the Quiet Storm on FM 98 with Papa Smurf. And my song came on at I Only Think of You on 2 occasions. That's Day and Night. And you know that's our song. So, look, when you get this, whenever you wake up, I just want to be the first thing that was on your mind. So, check this message.
I'm here for it.
Give me a call when you get this, all right?
All right, Mike, I see you.
So you drop it down a couple of levels on that voicemail. See, you got to get them over voicemail. See, when you a real player in this, that's right. The OG podcast is back. The OG podcast is back in effect. This what you've been waiting for.
The one podcast.
This what you've been waiting for.
One podcast.
This what you've been waiting for.
Let
me say that again, and I hope you catch these bleeps, Tarika. You got to get them over voicemail. And you ain't a real player if you can't do that. If you can't do that, sorry, you ain't done it. So all these pictures and all this stuff, nah, man, you got to break it down to the barest essentials. When all we had was our voice, all we had was our creativity to come up with a code said "I love you." All we had was
you can take it to the love letter if you want.
Will you go out with me? Yes, no, maybe.
No, I mean it got more elaborate. Like I still have every love letter every dude ever sent me.
That's kind of creepy. Why
is that creepy?
That's like your girl in Get Out keeping her fingernails. why,
I'm not sitting up here like stirring a teacup. Like,
why do you have every love letter every dude ever sent you?
Because they're just kind of interesting to have, you
why?
know, to remember different times in your life or whatever.
Really?
I mean, these are mostly serious relationships.
Oh, okay. It's not like elementary school.
No. I don't have check yes, check no.
Okay.
I don't have those.
Okay.
But like
right.
most of the serious relationships, because most guys that I've dated, they know how much that I love the written word. So they would write like 2 and 3 page like love letters, and
they knew how to get to you.
Exactly. So
my wife likes cards.
See what I'm saying? I bet she has every card that you probably have given her.
And you know how many cards I have that anybody's ever given me?
0.
Them is recycled immediately.
0.
I'm lying. I keep my kids' cards.
Okay.
I have a stack of my kids' cards.
I have all the cards your kids have sent me, so those are good.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and even, oh boy, I have every card he's given because he took a next level because, he personalized it. So he'll put a picture of us. He'll have that in the card, right? And then he'll go all out. Like his card game is strong.
Yeah.
It's really strong.
Good.
In addition to the heartfelt messages that he'll leave in there. But yeah, you keep that kind of stuff because it transports you back to the time of when, to a less simpler time. As you said, when all you had was either being on the phone or just phone caking in general. Like now it's amazing. I don't really talk on the phone a lot. Right. And, but those were, remember the times where you would spend like 3 hours on the phone with somebody.
Just on the phone. Nothing
to say. I don't even know what we was talking about. Just, right?
Well, you know what else, too? Not just the fact that obviously I'm happily married and you're in a committed relationship, but it just also goes to show how much time we had to waste.
I know.
Like, what were we doing? Like, because right now I want to go to sleep. Like, I couldn't imagine, like, even if I were single, I could not imagine being up in the middle of the night with somebody when the sun's coming up.
Right.
You got to really be horny. You got to really.
It's just about the fire in your loins, Mike.
That's all it's about. There's no other reason to be on the phone with somebody when you got, again, I'm qualifying this, when you have something to do the next day.
Right.
When you got somebody's job or somebody's class to go to, why are you still on the phone when the sun coming up? Like, why? For what?
The sun coming up is probably a little bit extreme.
Yeah,
but
damn right. Like, oh, God.
See, and
I remember being on the phone all night. God, I got to remember like an elephant. Speaking of Love Jones, okay, the song, something remix.
Oh,
Maxwell.
That's a closer. That's a closer right there.
I remember
that's Mariano Rivera right there.
I remember being on the phone having that song on repeat in the background. Even though you never want to show attention.
Oh, God.
I'll go always want to show affection. So if it's cool, we can do a little. You got to deal with this cat on the fence because I'm taking it back right now. This is grown folks podcasting.
Clearly.
This is grown folks
Maxwell
podcasting.
is so mad at you right now, Mike.
Maxwell's like, Michael, leave it to the professionals. You ever seen Maxwell in concert?
Yes, I have.
He almost made me throw my drawers on stage.
I saw him twice, and he was, yeah. You better go with your girl. You better go with your girl.
He did the coolest thing, and I haven't been in enough concerts to have seen him, to see if this is like a thing that everybody does. He was on stage doing The Fire We Make with like a hologram Alicia Keys.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
That was the most amazing thing.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
And he's just a beautiful man, and that's just the end of that. But now, I mean, look, I do think that I agree with you that technology has taken away some of the spontaneity and a lot of the face-to-face communication. But I would say that about outside of love. I mean, I think a lot of people now, I notice I'm running into more and more socially awkward people because of what technology has done to personal interaction. It's like it's harder for people to just talk to people or, you know, be at a party and mingle. And as you know, as we both know, anytime you go to parties now, everybody's on their phone.
It's really, well, not just parties, just everywhere.
Everywhere.
Like, and I feel bad about it. I'm guilty of it. Like, I'll be at the table with my wife and kids, or, you know, she has to tell me to put the phone down. You know, shout out to Erykah Badu. Like, I'll sit around and I'll just look up at everybody else and realize, wow, we're literally all on the phone. Like, we're not interacting with one another. Like, what did we do? Even the kids, we go on car rides. Oh,
let me guess. You. Oh, especially now with the new ride, right? You got the drug dealer TV sets in the headrest. Out there like, you Nino, G Money.
Be having the TVs playing, not even watching them.
Right.
You just got to have them on. Nobody in the back. Just have the TVs on.
Got to start on them, Mike. That's how it is.
No, but no, it's just my 5-year-old will immediately say, you know, Daddy, can I have your phone? They'll beg for the phone. Like, they can't just play I Spy with My Little Eye or, you know, the license plate game. You know, they like, it's almost like they have to have some kind of electronic stimulation at all times, where it's like, yo, we survived for
many years,
centuries.
Yes, many years.
Grew up with just like, you know, talk to each other.
Remember when going outside actually trumped playing video games?
Yeah.
Like, going outside was like the thing. Like, the idea of staying in the house all day was just, it just was absurd.
Yeah.
Like, you gonna go outside, run the streets with your friends, get into things you probably shouldn't get into. I mean, and then come back home.
You got to take a mailbox to the chest. It's like a rite of passage or rite of patches, depending on.
You got to flip over a hood.
Yeah,
right?
you got to yell car time.
Absolutely.
You know, do kids know what car time means now?
They don't know that. They don't know about that life. That's just too much. But before I guess we sound too much like, you know, old people and get off my lawn. Circling back though,
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I know this probably happened to you. It certainly has happened to me. But like,
nope, didn't happen to me.
Well, when you first, so you mean to tell me when you first started doing like TV, the Michael Smith brand started getting out there, like, you know, somebody didn't try to reconnect or
no? Because here's why, and this is why I say, look, all right, let me be clear. Like the president, let me be clear. No, and I'm talking about Barack Obama. Let me be clear. Not him. I'm talking about the president. I would not trade my life for anything. Anything. I have the woman that God made for me, and she has produced 3 lovely children, which, again, thank you for facilitating one of the most surprising and amazing moments of my life and career by having my wife and kids surprise me on set last Friday before Father's Day. That was really, y'all got me.
You know, everybody got all the feels from that. That was a great moment. That's
it. So I retired. I walked away early from the game.
It was Jim Brown.
Yeah. Oh, not even. I was, I'm trying to think of somebody who bounced like, gee whiz. I don't know. I don't know what the equivalent is, because I didn't even accomplish what Jim Brown accomplished before he decided to act.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of somebody that came and played for like 3 years and was like, I'm out. 3-4 years and like, I'm out. And was great. But point is, I retired before the TV thing really took off, and I retired before social media. So, in an alternate universe, I'd have been such a. I mean, it just. I mean,
see, God saved you from yourself.
He really
That's
did.
why He sent you
really
that woman
did.
when He did.
Like Antonio Cromartie be like, dude, how many kids you got? Like, it just. I mean, it would have been really because I probably could not have. I couldn't have turned it down. I couldn't turn it down. So to answer your question, no. Once I started doing TV, or even obviously, I mean, I got up on up and up professional friend congratulations, but I didn't get any hey big head since we got on the 6. Or I didn't get
WID
any
question marks.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't get any. You remember me or
right?
You miss me? No, I ain't getting any of that.
Well, I mean, one of the so as
you got a lot of that though. I'm sure you still get that.
Well, one of the reasons I changed my number probably over a year
that day
ago.
when you wore that romper, you got that, huh? The day when you put that romper on set, you got that.
No, I didn't get it then.
Oh, okay.
But one of the big reasons I changed my number over a year ago is because I wanted whatever skeletons were buried in my closet, I wanted them to stay there. And I didn't want it to be a situation where so many people, past and present, not just dealing with exes or whatever, where they had so much access to me. And I just kind of wanted a new start. Obviously I was in a new relationship, and I figured I would have control to give my number to the people who needed to have my number, and that was it. And so I've had to worry less about that. Now, social media, that's the thing, is that because it's brought the world so much closer to you, folks can DM you, and they can, leave messages and tweet you and say, hey, remember me from, whatever, of which I do not respond most of the time because I'm just not trying to, kind of give somebody else the impression that there's even a small or slight opportunity that there could be anything there.
Well, I will say this, like, I was talking about strictly like exes or whatever, but just, I could be transparent on this. Like, early on in the social media experience, I get some people that would shoot their shot.
Right.
Not as much as y'all get. Like, women are much more discreet.
Yeah.
Like, y'all not as aggressive with it. Like, I mean, I can only imagine the minefield that is your direct messages. But I would get a few. But I think most people just kind of know me. You know what I mean? Like, just know that it's like, you know what, he's all set.
Right.
So I don't really get propositioned.
Yeah.
Like talking about.
But women are sneaky though. I mean, they're gonna come at you with the no game. Like, oh, I love your sports takes.
Yeah, I don't really get that.
You don't really.
No. Okay. Maybe that says more. Maybe that says more about my sports takes. I don't know.
Well, I've told you before, and we've had this conversation. I was like, I would never tell you who among my harlot friends are like who think you're cute or whatever, because I'm just like, don't make me kill you over something stupid. All right, like I can't do this.
You could tell. I mean,
no,
there's no harm in just like sharing it. Just get your boy.
I gotta keep you humble. I gotta keep you humble.
I mean, I got a fragile ego.
Whatever.
I could really use
whatever
the
boost.
Yeah,
the pick
I could
me
really
up.
use the vote of confidence.
But I will say this, that sometimes when people pop in your life at those moments, especially when you're at the height of your career or experiencing something great, a lot of times it is.
How many fucking Planet of the Apes movies we making? I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm just.
Yo, the last one was dope. You didn't like it?
I stopped.
Okay.
I don't even know if I started. It just feels like Scorcher 6 at this point. Like, this time it's different.
Look, it's Woody Harrelson in it, man. Come on, this is at least worth it.
Well, that's got it. Like, okay, where did you go after
the last one? The last two, I think it would be the last two. They've been really good.
Was it Dawn or Midday or Brunch?
Dawn of the Apes. Look, Caesar is that dude.
Sunset of the Planet of the Apes.
Caesar's like the most easily distracted individual.
You got like
that's Mike over here. I'm trying to make a point, and he's like, but these damn Planet of the Apes movies.
I'm sorry.
And then he's about to lure me in and start talking about All Eyes on Me, but I'm not gonna do that.
Oh,
I heard
you saw that?
Bad.
I did see it.
It wasn't good.
That's disappointing.
You know what? I think that's a reserved conversation for another day.
Yeah, it was.
I have your place, so you're not gonna lose your thought because I have your thought.
No, I'm not gonna lose it. What I was
if you
going
want to go all eyes on me, go for it.
No, I'm not gonna go all eyes on me.
Right.
I'll say that for. I'll wait till you see.
It sounds like it's not worth another podcast. It sounds like it's now or never. It feels like.
I'll wait till you see it.
All right.
Yeah.
And you never know we're doing the next podcast. Never know we're gonna hit our His and Hers family with that you up text.
All right, I'll give you my mini hot take on all eyes on me.
Don't worry, I got your thought.
All right.
I remember what you was.
And Tarika, you can certainly chime in. I'm not trying not to give any. Although Can you say spoiler alert with Tupac? We know how to end it.
I think we're good on that.
It really wasn't a spoiler alert.
Right, like he did. And you didn't know that? Sorry, But I just thought they tried to do way too much. And it was a very disjointed, their heart was in the right place. But a big problem for them, coming off the success of Straight Outta Compton, which was a great movie, people were going to automatically expect that level of quality, and it just wasn't there. The guy who played Tupac, I can't remember his name.
Demetrius Shipp.
I thought he did a good job, honestly. Like, he had the mannerisms down and all that, but the story itself was just really, really disjointed. And it's one of those movies, at least for me, where it's halfway through and I'm looking at my watch like, how much longer we got to go?
That's the worst.
I'm halfway through
Or looking at your phone, as the case may be.
Or looking at my phone.
Hoping you got hit with the U up text.
I will agree with that. I think you're right. It was pretty disjointed, but I don't think it was terrible. I just think people's expectations of it were a little bit too high because they were comparing it to Straight Outta Compton and to Notorious. And I think that those kind of characters are a little bit different to explain in a movie than Tupac was, because he was already a complicated guy.
Well, I don't even know.
But that should have made it that's what should have made it a great movie, is that he is layered. He's complicated in a much different way than those other people were. It's like they couldn't pick one theme and stick to it.
Right.
Well, independent of Straight Outta Compton or Notorious, because Notorious was okay.
Uh-huh. I enjoyed it.
It's watchable.
Yeah,
shout out to Notori. Congratulations. Baby coming.
But see, the thing in Notorious, all the ancillary characters, they nailed those. Like Notori. Like she nailed Lil' Kim.
She nailed Lil' Kim.
And Faith.
Yeah.
Nailed it, right?
Anthony Smith was great Faith. But I'm saying it wasn't, like, Straight Outta Compton was really good. Notorious was okay. I'll say it was pretty good. In fairness. But I'm saying, like, Pac in and of himself, you talk about the complicated character, Tarika, Pac in and of himself raises just a level of expectation. Because Pac is an emotional, he is a polarizing, trigger point type of, like, when the subject of Tupac Shakur comes up, it's not just your typical rapper conversation.
Right,
like he's so iconic until, if Straight Outta Compton had never been made and somebody tells me we're making the biopic of Tupac Shakur June 16th, 1971, Mama gave birth to a hell-raising heavenly son.
Right.
And I see this dude, and he looks like him. I'm like, I'm here for this.
Right.
So it's really depressing to hear that it wasn't good, because that's just somebody's story that you don't want to screw up. Like, I was hoping this would be Ray.
I still think you need to see it, though, because I think you'll form your own opinion from it. And there are moments
I've
where
heard
you're
too many people say it sucks, Tarika.
I don't think it sucks.
Too many other rappers,
but I think too. But here's the thing, though. They forgot that this was supposed to be 1996. Now, I didn't see the iPhone thing that everybody's talking about.
They did.
But
the Beats by Drake.
I didn't see that.
They did the same thing as Straight Outta Compton. They were wearing some gear that was not out in the early 90s.
I was looking in the background like, that is not 1996 Vegas. That is very 2017 Vegas in the background.
And then plus the way again, y'all know what happened to Tupac, but the way they ended it was just like, wait, what? Like, it's
right. But and then it also too, you understand that with the other movies, there were so many people who could provide so much input on these characters' lives. Where with Tupac, some of the people
gone, his
mom's gone.
Yep.
Everybody didn't really know the real story when it comes to certain things. And I'm not even going to talk about Snoop. That was just a mess.
You know what?
Together.
I couldn't even figure out. I was like, I thought that Snoop provided like the voice track, and the guy was like mimicking.
That is exactly what happened.
I was like, oh, is that what happened for real?
That was Snoop's voice.
That was Snoop's. How you gonna have Snoop's voice in the movie, but not Snoop?
I couldn't even take my man serious, man.
Oh my God, no wonder, because I was sitting up there like, that really sounds like Snoop, but why is this dude like, it looks like he's pantomiming him. See, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's like you can't, his story was it's just too rich and too complicated. And like you, Mike, I was expecting something on the lines of like Ray, like some of these individual iconic biopics they've done where you're just like blown away. Like I was totally expecting that, and you don't quite get that. So for a lot of people, I think the people that like the Pac movie, they like it because it's nostalgic.
Gotcha.
They like it because they love Pac and they just want to like it. But on the base of it, it's not a good movie. It's just not. Like I mean, it's not the worst thing you've seen, but it's hard not to have expected more than what you got.
So you were saying, all right, that does it for at the movies. You were about to say, well, people coming into your life or texting
sometimes
or reaching
when they
out.
pop in, when you're having a moment, it's not necessarily with a bad agenda. All right, because I've done it when I've heard somebody maybe I used to deal with in the past that experience something, that was significant for their lives. I'll say, much like
it also depends on how you broke up.
It does. How you left things.
Even if you're not in contact, maybe you still have an admiration and respect and a love for people. Like, hey, I'm genuinely happy for you. And
sometimes I don't know, is that weird or if that crosses the line? Like,
no, you can root for them from afar.
Yeah. Well, okay. For example, but like my ex has children. I didn't do it, but I thought about it all day.
Father's Day?
Happy Father's Day. I was going to wish him a happy Father's Day, but I was like, is that weird to do? Is that not weird to do? Is that
it just depends on, that's a loaded conversation right there in and of itself, because it could turn out to be weird. It may not be weird from your perspective. You may just be being thoughtful.
Right.
But I don't know where previous old boy is in his headspace as it relates to you. Because I don't
think it's going to lead him on or anything like that.
You may not intend to. A Happy Father's Day text may foster flashbacks. And he could be like, ooh. Because that's what those beeps and those voice messages used to do. Is when
trigger.
You get them from, you know what I'm saying? You just that recall.
See, like we're the same sign, and so we would wish each other happy birthday. Is that...
So I just don't know.
I don't know.
Only you know whether or not it would have been the right thing to do to reach out and say happy Father's Day. And I'm thinking about the person
that I'm with, too, because then I had to, you always have to put the shoe on the other foot. If they
reach in your purse and they see...
Well, not only that, but if
Insecure coming back real soon.
If he reached out to his ex and wished her a happy Mother's Day, would I care?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't think I would. But then, you never know. So, because I don't, you also have to think about the present relationship you're in. Like, are you in some ways being disrespectful to that? So, but there are some exes that they were such a part of your lives that it's hard to sometimes separate. The connective tissue is just going to always be there.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that.
Soul ties.
I'm saying, yeah, it's the reason why the church folks talk about that, right? So, yeah, I don't think they're as easily severed. Like, I'm not carrying a torch for him, but I don't know if it's anything wrong with, saying, like, just when we got the 6, I mean, he reached out and was like, I'm really proud of you and all that other thing, and I took it for what it was worth.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was no big deal.
And I'm not saying, I don't know, I'm not passing judgment in any way. You took it for what it's worth because that's what you were willing to receive and nothing more. He may have meant it for more than it was than you took it as, which is always a possibility. So sometimes, like, sometimes that's why they say let the past be the past,
right?
And leave it there. And it's almost like if you're not continuing a relationship, there's no reason to just be friends. Like, you got all the friends you need.
Are you friends with any of your ex? Like friends?
No, not at all.
You think you can be friends with ex?
What's the point?
Well, damn, Mike, why gotta be like that?
No, I mean, I'm serious. What's the point? Like, I don't need any friends. Like, I have.
You got enough friends?
Like, we've had this conversation before. Like, tell your friends to get with my friends and we could be friends. That's what happens when you get married. Like, you end up, your friends become the same. So I don't need to maintain a friendship outside of my marriage that's not, like, it's one thing if it's you. Like, and also too, like, I'm selective with who I tag as a friend.
Right.
We can be friendly.
Right. We
could be cool, but a friend where I'm like, hey, we're hanging out, we're talking, we're texting. Like, you're the only woman I got that with, really. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So other people, like, yeah, I may periodically, hear from, but it's nothing. It's not a real relationship, if that's what I'm saying. I may get a text, be like, oh, saw the show, that was funny, or hey, love what you said about, like, I got somebody that I went to college with that I kicked it with that's, married with children of our own. Really love what you guys had to say about, I don't know, Colin Kaepernick or Philando Castile, whatever it is. Right. You know what I mean? Or that sort of thing. just appreciation for the work. Or congratulations, to your point. But in terms of like an ongoing friendship with an ex, like, not, and also that's hard to maintain.
Yeah. Well, friendships generally, whether they're ex or not,
right.
Once you get to a certain age,
I have a tough time
to
keeping up with my actual friends beyond you,
right.
Because of just the day. Like, I got kids, I got the wife, so that's why when I say what's the point, it's the same as what's the point in staying up till the crack of dawn when you got a job to go to. Like, ain't but so many hours in a day. There's almost so much bandwidth and
love
energy.
is the point in that case.
And I got way to, and plus I got all these Twitter followers I have to feed every day. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Course.
But that's another thing that takes up a lot of time, So I don't find it to be something that I'm missing being friends. But one other subject I wanted to touch on too, because we talked about voicemails, and I'm just seeing it because he reiterated it. More podcast love. Know them from Adam. On Adam Schefter.
Adam Schefter, yeah.
As a podcast. So he had Jeremy Maclin on, and this had already been out there. It's like two extremes. There's getting that text or voicemail that immediately makes you like H-Town and you want that old thing back. And then there is a voicemail telling you you've been fired. Like,
a little bit different.
That is that. And Andy Reid was just at Macklin's wedding.
Awkward.
He said John Dorsey, they released him on a Friday. Wasn't going to be a free agent until Monday. He was on a flight going to a former teammate's football camp, got a voice message from the Chiefs general manager saying he'd been released. Like, does it get any more cold-blooded than that?
Like, what would have stopped you from calling back? You know what I'm saying? Like, call back. Like,
or texting. When you land or when you get this, call me
right away.
ASAP.
Exactly.
Hey, big head, when you get this, call me right. ASAP.
I just don't understand, like, why it was necessary. It was unnecessary to me, and especially somebody, obviously, been a part of your organization. Like, would it have been so bad to just kind of wait it out and just – and maybe they did it because, look, this is also the truth. In today's how players are let go, those stories are often cold and callous because of social media.
Right. They find out sometimes.
They find out.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Didn't Dwight Howard, wasn't he tweeting through before he got traded yesterday?
He was tweeting talking about what NBA trades you guys want to see, and literally 10 minutes later, he got traded. Right. I don't think he had that in mind when he put that tweet out there.
Have known.
There's no way he knew.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have invited that kind of, that kind of
reaction,
ridicule, basically, given what he did. But not to give him a pass, but maybe that was a big part of it, is the fact that they left the voicemail because they were maybe afraid that the news would get broken and he find out some other way. And at least they could say, well, we left you a voicemail. Yeah. And this is what it was. That's the only excuse I can think of.
If I'm Maclin, who, thankfully is landing on his feet, 2-year contract in Baltimore.
And after you just get married, too. My goodness.
Well, and look, I don't want to make this a referendum on Andy Reid, who by all accounts is one of the classiest and friendliest and most considerate. You know what I love about more than anything about Andy Reid, and I'm sure Eagles fans or even Chiefs fans, they're probably, typically cynical about it or whatever, but Andy Reid's the only coach I know that every injury, no matter the player, walks out to the field and stands over the player. Every single injury. Never. He's done that his entire career, as I can recall. No matter what, he walks out, headset on, play card in hand, stands over the player.
I never even
every
thought about that.
Every single time. No matter where it is on the field.
Right.
He's right there until that player is picked up off the field. So I don't want to necessarily disparage Andy Reid's character or his connection with his players. Again, he was just at Macklin's wedding. But I would rather find out through the media, because that stuff happens, than to hear it over a voicemail for an organization.
Oh, okay. So if somebody else would have reported it, you would have been fine with that as opposed to that voicemail.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Or a text that said, hey, call me as soon as you get this.
Right.
Because a voicemail is almost like, hey, I did my part.
Right. I did the very basic of what I had to do.
That's like back in the day. You used to play this game, mix some things up, mix some scenarios. You used to play that game where it's like, well, I text you last. Right. Or I called you last.
Right.
So you're supposed to call me.
You're really not trying to be on the hook for something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're supposed to call me back. You don't want to put yourself out there. Like, you're supposed to, like, should I call first? Should I not? Like, okay, I'm going to call first. And then I'm going to just wait for the call. But then you never talk because, like, oh, why didn't you call me back? Well, I called you and you never called me back. It's one of those where it's like, I would rather, a voicemail to me is like, hey, we did our part. We tried. We couldn't get a hold of you to let you know. I would rather the text saying, please call me as soon as you get this, because then if you're Macklin, you can say, well, I was on a flight. That's why I didn't get it. You know what I mean? It's not on them. But when they left a voicemail, it's almost like, all right, cool. We moving on. We've been trying to trade you for several months. You've been released. Appreciate your service. I don't even know what was said on the voicemail, but I think that's why Macklin feels some kind of way.
And I don't blame him for that. And look, I mean, everybody's obviously very aware of some of the things that happen around here regarding some of the layoffs that we had.
There you go.
I'll I'm sure on some level, I mean, I know obviously as many of those conversations took place that were, face to face, and I would like to think that nobody had to find out that way, but it just kind of brings into focus from just a pure gratitude and, just feeling fortunate. Like I've never been fired from any job ever.
No, same here.
Never been laid off from one. Or as they used to call it sometimes in the newspaper industry when they try to make it sound more polite, separated from your job. Right.
Well, I've never been broken up with, so I have that going for me too.
There you go. I've been fired from a relationship before, but
long-time listeners of this podcast know
right?
that,
I was like, I've been let go on that end. It only happened once.
I've never divulged. I can say that because there were some relationships that were just in my mind to begin with. They were never real relationships. Okay. So I was like, how can you break up with me when you didn't know we were together?
That's I've somehow just pictured you, the dude who has the meme with the guy with his fingers on the temple.
Right.
How can
you can't be dissed if you don't go together?
If you don't go together, as you might.
Right. That's exactly right.
So now I understand why your track record is what it is.
It's pristine. Yep.
But I've known people who have gotten broken up with over text, which I really can't understand. Yeah. And I just don't know how you.
That's when you ain't give a shit to begin with.
But again, I'm trying to marry it to what the times are now. I don't know if that's all that unusual anymore.
No, because of the very thing we started off talking about is like face to face is out.
Right.
Like, okay, back in the day, voicemail would be the extreme. Voicemail would be the thing like, wait, you broke up with her over voicemail?
I mean, even my man Richie in Harlem Nights said, tell your mama I ain't never coming home.
Like, you know what
even
I mean?
He called home.
You do it in person or you do it over the phone live or in person. But a voicemail used to be like, wait, you left a voicemail to break up? So now, yeah, you're right. It's like, I guess a text is probably common. Like voicemail might be a step up to some people nowadays. Right. They might feel like, ooh, I sent you a text.
Yeah. And even I've known people who have had like full scale like couple arguments like over text, which I really, again, which blows my mind. Like who has time to send all those damn messages?
I want you not to be so judgmental.
Tarika, what have you had arguments over text?
Half of my arguments are over text.
I want to say text start arguments.
Text like
because it's lost in translation.
Though, but you know what though? Sometimes text messaging an argument or your feelings is a little bit easier than saying it in person because you have an opportunity to really sit down, think about what you're trying to say. And for some of us who kind of pop off at the mouth and maybe say things we don't really mean to say when we're arguing, that's a way for us to scale back and focus and not say some hurtful things.
No, that's too dangerous because you can't, like text and email, same thing. You can't project tone.
Right.
So something that you say, without the proper punctuation or, the proper syntax or grammar, it could be misconstrued. Whereas, and again, you also might get a little tough juice on you over text or email.
That's true.
Or over direct message. You might.
See, I'd be the opposite. See, Tarika, you feel like it calms you down maybe and allows you to think more. I feel like maybe it's the journalist in me, I feel like I'd be far more likely to say something cutthroat and biting over text than I would to their face.
Right.
Or over the phone. Because at least over the phone, I'm going to at least think about like how they might react once I say it.
You can hear it.
I can hear it.
You get some energy from it.
Right. It'll actually soften me to hear them, especially if it's something they feel passionate about or feel like I've hurt them in some way, as opposed to over text where I'm not getting that emotion. I might just fire off on you.
You mentioned the layoffs, and that's because there were some horror stories.
Right.
About people doing a show and then getting a text saying, "Come to my office." Almost like the Turk, bring your playbook.
Yeah.
Thank God, never had to experience that. Trying to think, worst text I ever got. All right, like happened a couple weeks ago, but it was cool. I mean, she's in a better place. She was going on 94 years old. She was alive, but wasn't living. Quality of life wasn't great. My grandmother passed recently. You knew about this. That's one of the reasons why I missed some shows and missed the podcast, I think, during this streak of being absent. But yeah, so I remember getting a text from my mama. Or no, actually she called. I saw the number pop up. So usually a text from my mom is a weird thing because I know that it's probably not good.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's something that I need to attend to when I get a text from my mom. My wife knows not to text me during the day unless it's absolutely necessary. So when my mom actually called, when I saw the number pop up on the cell phone, and I knew she was close. My grandmother was close. When that popped up, and it was about 4:30.
Right, because I remember it was right before the show.
I was looking at it, I was like, if I answer this, I know it's on the other end of it.
Right.
But I went and answered it, and it was, it was what I thought that she had gone or whatever. So that was probably, the most anxious message or correspondence that I've received recently. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember many bad news texts or voicemails that are on the level of obviously on the level of you're fired or we're letting you go.
On the lighter side about voicemails is that there are people who don't understand exactly that the voicemail is not the phone conversation.
You talking about the 2-minute voicemail?
Man, I'm waiting on my mother to actually leave a voicemail that's under 2 minutes. She can't do it. Like, I'll look down at the voicemail like, holy crap, this voicemail is 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Like, what did you say in this? Like,
all right, so voicemail memo, voicemail tidbit. If you know the person and it's not your first time calling them, there's no need to say who you are and to leave a number. You don't have to leave a number.
That's
and
true.
You definitely don't have to tell me what time it is that you're calling. Because modern voicemail tells you all of the above.
Yes, that is true.
Okay, we're digital now. So
right.
I know what time it was. I know the number you're calling from. I know what day it is. I probably know who it is.
Only leave a number if you're, say, at a different number.
Correct.
And just like, call me back on this number.
Do not call and leave the entirety of the corresponding conversation on the voicemail. Because otherwise, there's no need to call you back. So to your point, if you're going to leave me a 5-minute voicemail,
then why would I call you back?
You told me everything I need to know.
Right. So then it's just a repeat. I'm just like, okay. Now,
stop butt dialing, damn it.
Oh, the butt dialing is the worst.
The butt dialing voicemail is nothing worse than that. Absolutely nothing worse than that. Well, actually, there's something worse than that.
Well, I know people have been tripped up on that butt dial.
Well, I'm about to say, there is something worse than that. The worse than that is sending the hey, big head text to the wrong big head.
Ooh.
That is worse.
Ooh.
Second to that is a butt dial in a bad set of circumstances.
This happened.
Oh, God, please don't tell me.
This happened a while ago. I feel like it happened this year, but I made the mistake, and it was a great lesson. It was a great lesson. I will never simultaneously be texting you and old boy at the same time. Ever. Ever in life, okay? Because there was a text, and I swear, I was like, this was nothing but Jesus that got this. If you would have got this text from me, you probably would have been like, you know what? Who are you? And like, you would have called me. Like, what the is this? Right? Because I almost accidentally sent you this text that was meant for him because
were there
I was
pictures involved?
No, thank God.
But images nonetheless.
Imagery. Yeah. You might not have looked at me the same after this.
Thank you, God.
I know. But it taught me a very important lesson.
No, not only would I not have looked at you the same, because I would have, listen. I mean.
Oh, I know you would have never let me live it down.
I was about to say,
ever.
If you were going to shoot your shot, you'd have shot it by now. But do you know how much fun I would have had?
Oh my God! I
know you roasted you.
You would have.
I might have twit-picked it. I might have put it on Instagram.
No, you would have screen grabbed it. Absolutely. I don't think you would have. You couldn't have put it out there, though.
I never deleted it.
I know. And whenever
So what did it say?
I can't tell you.
We're in the trust tree.
Oh, I definitely can't tell you that over this.
It was to old boy. I know it wasn't to me.
No, we'll discuss that off.
Were you sexting?
Yes. That's what I said. Like, what you would have gotten, trust me, you would have not looked at me the same. Not at all.
Tarika, I think she should tell us what she was going to tell old boy.
I'm still waiting. I'm gonna wait until after the show and be like, Jamel, what you was texting? I want to know.
Yeah, we were just,
I gave you a sample.
I'm in a long distance relationship.
I gave you a sampling of my voicemail game.
Yeah, but that was clean, Mike. That was clean. Like everything. There was a lot of F-bombs.
Huh?
It was a lot of F-bombs, and some imagery, some
references.
Some
to
references.
Previous...
Yes, it was like it was a lot going on.
So what made you not?
Because
you looked at the name to make sure.
I looked at the name to make sure, and I was like, "Oh snap!" And then I just like deleted it, and I just kind of had to chuckle to myself. So
crisis averted.
But remember, well, hopefully she's not embarrassed. It was nothing big, but remember when Nicole accidentally she sent it to both of them?
Oh yeah, our content. Yeah. It was clean.
It was totally
this before
clean.
She got engaged.
Yes.
But she sent some stuff, and we were both like, "Hey,
so this ain't for us."
It wasn't too bad, but it was clearly meant for a guy.
Right. Yeah. And we'll just say it was meant for her fiance. I'm sure it was.
Congratulations.
Yes, and congratulations to them again. But yeah, that was like. That could have been a potentially colossal embarrassment.
I kind of wish you'd have sent it.
No, you do not. Wish I would have sent that.
I wish you'd have sent. No, I do now because it would have just been such. That would have been a hell of a podcast.
Because I know you would have wanted to do one on there. And there was nothing I could say.
When we do one,
right? And I was glad there wasn't a picture involved because then I couldn't show my face around you. Then you had to get another co-host. So I'm like, you seen the goodies. It'd be a wrap.
This was good. We gave you that old thing back.
Yeah.
We got to go to the show.
And we sent pictures, people, no faces. That's the way it works. No faces.
Till next time. Hopefully next time in a long time.
His, and hers. For more of His and Hers and other great podcasts, go to ESPN.com/PodCenter.